The first thing I would like to ask you before starting is to come closer, because this is going to be very interactive, and I want to talk to each one of you, and I'm going to come down from here in a second because I don't like stages. So please, people in the back, come here in the front rows, because we're going to have a lot of stuff to do together. No? Come on, don't be shy. How do you say it? Dabai, dabai? Ah. Thank you very much. So, a warm welcome to this masterclass, which is going to be, as you can see, about succeeding with your ICT project and your ICT skills across the world, which sounds super fancy. I just want to give you a bit of an overview about what we're going to do today. I don't have the right answers, but what we're going to do today is to try to find the right answers together. Okay? Before we start, I would like to thank INAT for the invitation and Milena for the great job, and to say that I have never felt so welcome as I have in Serbia. You people are very, very hospitable, so thank you very much for that. Thank you. Before we begin, I would like to introduce myself so you know who's talking to you and why I'm talking to you, and also introduce Armin, who is going to be co-hosting this masterclass with me. So my name is Oana Bouraoui. I am Romanian, and I live in Brussels. My story is kind of funny, and I would like to share it with you because I hope that you can draw some lessons from it. I was born in Romania, as I told you, and I've been struggling to find what I'm good at and what I like in my life since I can remember. So I started studying communication and political studies. After that, I saw that was not for me. I went into marketing. I learned very fast. I became a marketing manager for a big company. I said, this is not for me. I started to learn development and coding and design by myself. I freelanced for 6 years across the world with startups and companies across the world as a designer and a web developer, and I said, this is still not for me. So all this time I was traveling. I moved to Tunisia with my husband, and then from there we moved to Paris, and from there I moved back to Romania, and now I live in Belgium. So I have been moving a lot, and what I'm trying to say and what I'm going with this is that at the end of the masterclass, I want you to understand, through my experience and through Armin's experience, why the most important lesson that you have to understand is the power of connection. As you see there, the hashtag, connection powers innovation. So when I was living in Paris, I met my co-founder, Valentin, who I actually met in Paris. He's the first guy I met in Paris. I went there, I knew nobody. And together we decided to co-found something that is called Romanian IT. Romanian IT is the global community of Romanians in tech. Basically, we reached out to the best entrepreneurs, the best tech people, and the best of the best Romanian change makers, innovators across the world, and we brought them together. Next slide, sir. These are just a few of our people. Today, we are 1,500 Romanian entrepreneurs, developers, innovators, change makers across the world. This is, I have to say, the proudest thing, the thing I'm most proud of everything I've done since I started working. These people, each one of them has dedicated their energy, gave us their time, their know-how, in order to enable us to grow together. We basically created a culture of innovation and know-how exchange across the world. Now we work together, we create opportunities for each other, and this is something that is very, very amazing. It doesn't depend on the field you're in, it doesn't depend on your experience. The power of connection will always bring you opportunities. Let me tell you a little bit about how Romanian IT started and why we did this, actually. We did this because, for example, me as a freelancer, if you're a freelancer, who here is a freelancer? Good. Anybody else? Just you, sir. So you, sir, understand very well that if you don't have a network as a freelancer, you don't have a job. You cannot find projects, you cannot find anything, basically. So as a freelancer, as I told you, I freelanced for 6 years, I realized that I really have to start building a network. So this is how Romanian IT started. We were in Paris, we were making a lot of money as developers and designers, and we were going back to Romania every time, and we're like, we had friends that were 10 times more talented than us, 10 times better than us, but making like 10% of what we were making. And we said, okay, this is not okay, this is completely wrong. So basically why we built this community is to make sure that those people back home have the same opportunities as we do, and we can learn together, and we can access the same opportunities. Next slide, sir. So at Romanian IT, what we say is that we're not just building a community, we are defining a whole new way of life. A life lived through connections, basically. Romanian IT is leading a high-impact innovation movement around the world. Basically, we consider that we're innovating through a new way of life, a new way of work, a new way of thinking. Next slide, sir. Who we are, I actually already told you about this. We are more than 1,500, this is an old slide, in over 20 countries. We actually created local chapters across the world in the biggest hubs, like Paris, London, Munich, Vienna, Dublin, Ireland. And I personally went there and looked for all the Romanians in these cities, and I brought them together, and now they're having monthly meetups, they work together, they're creating projects together, projects that have a very powerful social impact for Romania and for their local chapters. Next slide, sir. So as I told you, our main mission is to connect, and this is what I want to talk to you about today. Our goal is to catalyze the Romanian sector, the IT sector, both from the diaspora and from Romania. It's very important for us to build a bridge of communication between what's happening in Romania and back home in Romania and what's happening to the Romanians abroad. What we did, we created a global mentorship program that basically brings people together. We have Romanians working as top developers, seniors at Uber, at Microsoft in the US, people who are entrepreneurs that raise millions of euros in London, and basically what they're doing is they're sharing their knowledge with people back home who do not have the same vision, they did not have the same opportunities, they didn't have the same studies. As we speak, we are running the second edition of the Global Mentorship Program, and this is bringing together 17 mentors from across the world, from 3 continents, 9 countries, and it's connecting them straight to the people back home in Romania who need this valuable information. Testimonials from people from the last edition say that basically this 3-month program changed their life, it changed their perspective, it changed their way of thinking, and because of this now, basically their whole perception on this basically changed. So, before we go any further, do I have any other slides, sir? Another one. Another one? Yes, this is where we actually work now, let's say work. This is the local chapter that we have, where we have communities of people who meet regularly, as I told you. And we like to say that we are born in Romania, but we're citizens of the world. What I want you to understand from this is that there are no more borders today. Like, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter where you work, it doesn't matter where you're based. It matters, what is important is to be connected across border. The internet, the digitalization of our lives is making this possible. So basically, you can get connected to people in San Francisco, you can get connected to people in Paris, and basically you as a freelancer understand this very well. What I would like to do now is to get a bit of a better understanding of who am I talking to, because I would like to freestyle this masterclass a little bit. I don't have a plan. I want to see who the audience is, and based on that, we will design the second part of the masterclass. So let's see a little bit. How many of you are students here? Wow, a lot of students. Good. How many of you are entrepreneurs? You're a student and entrepreneur. Good, good. That's awesome. What are you doing if you're not a student entrepreneur? You're young talents. Mathematician, okay. You work in the military. And how did you end up here? We're happy to have you. Okay, who here has already, like from you guys, the young guys, had an internship? Did you work in a startup? What's your background? What's your experience? Who wants to tell me a little bit?
Hi, everyone. My name is Vildana. I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina, currently in Banja Luka, a student. I study graphic engineering. I'm 4 exams away from graduating. And I have been, like, past 2 years in, like, 2 internships and currently work in some company. Also, I do some freelancing, but I didn't hear the question right. So, yeah, that's mostly about me.
Okay, my name is Milan and I'm fourth-year mechanical engineering student in Sarajevo. Okay, I'm former chair of FS Bosnia and Herzegovina, so I was volunteering as a part of leadership in one NGO. And I'm also starting a startup in Sarajevo together with some other students and professors. And yeah, that's it, I guess.
Who else wants to start a startup or work in a startup? Not work something on their own, but not.
Can I get a word? Okay, my name is Ali. About startups in general, I had some experience with one startup in Munich, and I also had experience with my own startup. And in my opinion, if a startup goes beyond a year or 2, then I don't consider it a startup anymore, and it should be just like a regular company and considered like, you know. So I would like to do a startup, but I would not like to fall into the trap that I'm stuck in a startup like for years or whatever. Yeah, that's my 2 cents about it.
What means stuck in startup? So they don't know what.
In my opinion, stuck in startup means that you still look for fundings, that you still don't have means to make it self-sustainable and to be earning solid profits from it. So yeah, that would be it.
How many of you here consider starting a startup in the next year?
Okay, so I'm from Bosnia, and in our country, the main obstacle would be the government and government regulations, and I don't know if my colleagues from Bosnia would agree. So there's not much support. There aren't many hubs, community workspaces, and so on. But there is a forward-thinking trend, and there are places that are developing those environments. So yeah, I would go back and say that those regulations are one of the main obstacles. And yesterday also Armin mentioned education. Education system is really, really broken and also corrupt, to be honest. So those 2 things should be worked on. So government and education system, and also just creating.
Okay, so for a few years now, I've had a few ideas about, I don't know, I wanted to start a company, but I couldn't find a team of quality people, and I think that's the biggest problem. I'm currently a part of one startup, but I'm not the founder. So I think that it will open some doors, maybe some connections, so I can use those connections for when I start my own company one day. So I think the team is the biggest problem. I mean, it is for me, so. I think at conferences like this, where it's a closed circle, it's a kind of closed circle, and the same people go to these conferences and try to work on themselves and go to entrepreneurial, I don't know, conferences, educations, sessions, and things like that. So I think that's the place where you can find the people, maybe not with ideas, but who want to be part of something like that. We have that kind of thing at Faculty of Economics here in Belgrade. We have a startup center, and they organized like those meetups where somebody can pitch their idea, and people who are interested in becoming part of a startup, they apply and come and listen to those ideas and maybe join a startup if they want to, if they like it.
Here? Does it work? It does. Okay, can I sit? Okay. So, hello again. uh, some guys already know my idea because we done some pitching already. So, it's about air pollution in Sarajevo. Maybe you heard that in Sarajevo we have huge issue with air pollution. There is a very big problem with lung cancer. It's 2,600% more than in Stockholm, for example. So it's a very, very big issue. So we decided to make some changes to improve the life of people there. And in order to do that, we are building a device that will do filter. It will clean the air and bring it inside the houses so that people, at least in house, have clean air. And we also, this device is also energy efficient. So we would like to make sure that once you are bringing clean air inside, you don't waste a lot of energy. So that's the point of our, that's the idea of our startup.
So at what stage you are?
We are building a prototype. Actually, I'm in charge of doing the 3D modeling and also preparing documentation for the manufacturing. So for the first prototype, and I'm not done yet. So,
Okay.
and
How big is your team?
okay. We have one professor from university.
Founding member or just?
He's a founding member. He's a team leader as well. We have 3 more students from electrical parts, electronics, and IT.
So they're all technical.
Technical, yes. I'm from mechanical field. And also I have some background, as I said before, with leadership. So I was also involved in writing a business plan and doing those management things. And we have also support from one professor from Australia that is also has own lab that is innovation and yeah.
And how did you find your team? How did you get people to join?
Actually, we are all part. The founder of the BH Futures Foundation is the professor that is our investor, And the other professor is a part of the lab that this professor has in Sarajevo. This professor approached me and asked me, would you like to join me in building this device? So I was the second person that he asked, and first actually, and afterwards we just asked other people. So we looked, okay, we need this guy for this, and let's see who is good, and use our network and use our connections to bring that guy in a team.
How do you go about raising funds? What did you try? What kind of funds, like VC, maybe governmental? What kind of funds did you?
Okay, in Sarajevo we have a hub. It's a youth deployment project founded by, they have finances from Swiss embassy, and they have very specific program there. So we had 6 months entrepreneurship program where they teach us about entrepreneurship. It's
Like an accelerator?
yes. And at the end, we had the IEEE conference pitching. There were some guys from business, from some industry, so they really helped us to shape our idea, and also, yes, and we also did like pitching in front of them, and we were third there, so.
So who would be your first customers?
Uh,
Let's ask, like, what's your challenge? We heard all the nice story. Like, what's your challenge now? Like, what stage are you in? What's the next step? What's blocking you, if anything is blocking you?
Okay. First thing is we are not sure that all things that we are planning to do are still that it works. So we would like to verify our idea actually. So next step is to make the prototype, to finish it, and then to verify our idea. And
What means to verify ID?
it means to test the prototype and say, okay, it really works, and all expectations that we set, like for the minimal viable product, are
Test is internal.
yes. So internally to test it and then to give it to the people. And yes, and our idea is to provide clean air to all people, and idea is to bring it to private houses, but also to hospitals, and to building, also government buildings and other industry.
Consider applying for EU funding, because there are a lot of, I don't know if you know about Project Fund 20, I think you have heard about it. Like, there are a lot of funds that are granted for environmental issues, so maybe this is something that should be considering.
Yes, we thought about it, and we will probably do this. But as I said, we would like first to build a prototype, and then afterwards we will continue with that. And as I said, we have also some promised funds from professor, but also from other guys. We were approached by one guy from Canada who is originally from Bosnia and Herzegovina. And he's vice president of one big company in Canada, and he also showed some interest to work with us. So
So what's your challenge then?
I think the biggest challenge is time, because we have all priorities in our life, in terms like, okay, I have my university that I would like to finish before I really put more time on the startup, and all other members are also doing other things during the every day, so in everyday life. So it's just time that maybe is the biggest issue.
What would you say that helped you the most throughout the way? Like, was it the networks? Was it the mentors? What advice would you give to somebody who is like you 1 year ago, who just started, like, and who's just trying to build this thing, and who hasn't figured out stuff yet?
Okay, I think first to open eyes, to listen, to be prepared to learn from others. So, because people are mostly like, okay, that's my idea, it's the perfect thing that you can hear now. And first time when I went there, I was like, okay, that's the best one. And then they just started asking questions, and I was really confused, you know. I was not able to describe our product. I was not able to describe our business model, actually. And I was, you know, ashamed. I was really confused. I went back home and I was like, okay, should I continue? Am I really ready to start a company, you know?
And what made you say yes and not quit?
Actually, I went to in a bar with with other guy from our startup team, and we talked a lot. And then we said, okay, we have idea, we have mission that is behind that. So let's try, let's make it possible.
Very, very cool to hear that, and to see how you overcame that. Like fear always helps for sure.
Yeah.
And I bet it helped that you had the right people with you, because if the other ones say, okay, let's do it, then you find the courage to do it at the end of the day.
Yes, and as you said, I think connections and having right people around you is a very important thing. So people with also connections, but experience, financial possibilities to.
So we come back to connections and we come back to the network. What I wanted to stress is when before I started everything, I was, as you said, I was very confused, and people kept asking, what are you doing with your life? I was a designer, I was a web developer, I was an entrepreneur, and even I didn't have any idea what I am. And what helped is to have mentors. I had mentors. Even now, I have around 5 or 6 mentors that are helping me different parts of my life. I have somebody who, I have like a woman role model who I'm talking to about, like, I don't know, marriage and what's going to happen when you're going to have kids. I have a mentor who is teaching me entrepreneurship. I have a mentor about community building, because I'm my biggest skill, let's say, is building communities and building cultures across the world, bringing the people together. And I have basically a mentor for everything. And are you having fun? What's happening? So having a mentor doesn't mean that you have to make it official. Just try to surround yourself with people who did what you want to do and try to figure out how they did it. Reading a book means you might have a mentor. Like, I don't know, I like to read a lot about Tony Robbins books. I like to read about success stories. I'm actually reading Hillary Clinton's book right now to see how she did it and how, as a woman, she made it in a men's dominated world. So try to always stretch yourself. Try to always put yourself in the most uncomfortable position that you can possibly imagine, and try to get used to being uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable, it's the second you get uncomfortable, it means that you're growing. You left your comfort zone, you left everything that is familiar, and you're out there in the wild, let's say, and you have to figure stuff out. That instinct of figuring stuff out is basically the best thing you can have. Always listen to your gut. Like, my gut always told me that I cannot. It's working now. Oh, okay, thank you so much. Like, my gut always told me, like, it's that small feeling that says, okay, I don't want to do that, but I really want to go into that, and it's always guided. Can I have the other one? Okay, let's hope this one doesn't play tricks on me. Thank you so much. So basically, always listen to that thing that you have. Like, everybody said after 5 years in marketing, I said, stop it, I'm not going to do this anymore. I was very good at it, and I was having a great career, and when I felt it was not for me, like, in a second I changed it. I didn't even think about it. I started learning something new. I started expanding my horizons. So this is something that, as for you, especially for students at the beginning of the road, this is something that is vital for you. Just go crazy, go try anything that feels nice for you. I'm boxing, I'm dancing, designing. I'm actually started drawing at some point just to see what that will teach me. So go ahead and try everything that is appealing to you. And yeah, do you want to add on that? Thank you. So who else would like to share their challenges? And because you don't have any challenges, you just basically came and bragged that you are a successful entrepreneur and that you're a student at the same time and you're getting investment. So let's give him a round of applause for that. Good job, well done. Who actually has a question or something that would like to share with us and we can actually give some advice? Nobody. Nobody has any problems in their lives. You know everything. Okay. Please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Milana from Belgrade. I'm a PhD student from electrical engineering. I do speech processing, and I have 3 years of experience in working as a software developer, full-time job. Also, I'm a fitness trainer. I do blogging. I run marathons, etc., etc. And I would like to figure out what should I do with my life in a way, in that sense. So your story reminded me of what I do, just that I have that problem with, I cannot do switch, I just cannot leave something in a way, if you know what I mean. So I would like to, use everything that I know to give some value to this world as a citizen of the world, as you said. So
exactly. That is the right mindset. There you go. Like like every time, like, is this what I want to be doing right now? And then I figured out that the skills I was learning while doing the thing that I wasn't sure it was what I had to do, they helped me very much. They helped me very much afterwards in another situation. Thank you. Like, let's exchange. So exactly, as you're doing marathons, you're blogging. So it basically nobody knows from the get-go. Yes, I want to be an entrepreneur. And did you wake up like? Were you born saying I'm going to build something someday that is going to give fresh air to all the people? No, you got to that point, and to get to that point, you tried stuff and you were curious. Like, by the way, being curious is the biggest asset you can have. I'm so curious. I'm always asking questions. I'm driving people crazy. Like, why? I want to know why. I want to understand. And being curious and asking questions all the time and never take for granted any information. Like, if somebody tells me that the chair is pink, I really have to think about if that chair is really pink, why is it pink? And I have to be sure for myself that the chair is pink. I never say, okay, you told me it's pink, I'm going to believe you. No, always question. I know. It was like an example. I know it's black. So always go there and challenge the status quo. Never take any information for granted. I know that I remember in college, I used to fight with my teachers. I literally would have debates and fight with them during the class because they were saying something, as they used to always say it. I'm like, I don't agree. Why don't you agree? And we would debate on this and we would fight on this. And at the end, I was convinced he was right or I was right, but at least I gave him a piece of my mind. So this is something that has helped me along the way. I have been surrounded by men all my life. I was practically the only girl in the room most of the time. So I had to learn to fight for myself and to say, no, I stand by what I believe. And this is something that each one of you should do. Like, if you feel you're right, don't be afraid to say, I'm right, and I'm going to fight for that. If you're wrong, say, okay, I was wrong. But if you're right, do not give up and do not step forward. Like, always be a fighter on that. So thank you a lot for sharing your story. Keep running marathons. That is awesome for the mind and for the body. I do too. I think you all know the story of the amazing lady yesterday who heard her. Oh my God. She's such an inspiration. Like, these are the kind of people you want to be around. These are the kind of stories you want to hear in your life about people who did stuff like that. So always try to reach out to those people. Try to surround yourself. And something else. When I started out, I was like, where am I going to find mentors? Like, I'm nobody. And I do nothing. I have no skills. You always assume that everybody else is better than you. That is complete BS. I started emailing people. I found this amazing woman on LinkedIn. I said, hey, look, I want this information from you. I really think you're amazing, and I want to know how you did that. And maybe you're not going to answer, but look, I'm going to ask you anyway. And she answered, and we're still keeping in touch, and she's a mentor of mine, and it made me understand that anything is possible. The only limitations you have are in your head, and it's your beliefs. So if you believe that, I don't know, she's never going to answer, and you're never going to write, she's never going to answer because you never wrote. But if you write to her, maybe she's going to answer. So go ahead, try, and like always try to cross your limits and cross your borders. And like if you would have told me 1.5 years ago that I'm going to be traveling the world to get Romanian people together, and they would all work voluntarily for this thing that I had in my head at some point, and from this like small spark in my head, this happened, I would have left. I would have said, no, never in my life I would be capable to actually do that. But look, here I am today. Me and my co-founder were nominated top Forbes 30 under 30 for this in Romania, so it's something huge. We have IT companies backing us up, we have the government backing us up, we have all the embassies around, Romanian embassies around the world backing us up. So basically I just said, I'm going to give it a try. Whatever happens, happens. So basically I called all the ambassadors of Romania across the world, and I told them, I'm coming. When do you have time to see me? I didn't tell them, maybe no. I said, I'm coming, make time for me, please. And they made time for me, and they're all supporting our initiative and backing us up in all the chapters. So until you try it, until you give it a try, you cannot possibly say it doesn't work. Stop saying no to yourself. Say yes to yourself and go for it and go crazy. No idea is a bad idea. Anything you want to try, go ahead and try it. Right? Who had similar experience they would like to share? Go. Whatever feels comfortable.
Hello, guys. My name is Nihat Ferhatović. I come from Bosnia and Herzegovina, from little town of Gorazde. I have one problem, and I want to ask you from your experience, and you're also. I have a problem with prioritize things. I'm NGO activist. I'm traditional dancer. I'm a student on electrical engineering, second year. I have midterm exams in Monday, but I'm here.
Have a girlfriend.
Yes.
That takes a lot of your time.
Right now I'm here, but I don't know, is it from your opinion? For me, is it better to be here today or to be in Sarajevo and studying my exams, which are going to start on Monday? So my question is it better to finish university and after that do networking and all those things, or first network and faculty and university will finish in some years?
That's such a cute question. Like, you cannot never say, okay, I'm going to do that first. You have to do it at the same time. And you have to figure out how to do it all at the same time. Like, my biggest regret, my only regret actually, is that I didn't start networking sooner when I was like 5. Because you cannot say that I'm going to do all this and then I'm going to network. No. Like, your network gives you so much power and so many opportunities. Like, I don't know, if I hadn't met my co-founder and we didn't brainstorm together, I would not be here today, maybe. So, like, learning comes, like, the network gives you know-how, gives you value, gives you, like, maybe you're going to meet somebody while you're networking, and that is going to give you a better perspective or a good advice about how to learn or how to study or how whatever, you know. You cannot say that I'm going to study and then I'm going to start networking. No. You're networking and you study at the same time. You have to make it work. Like, you saw she's blogging, she's doing like 10,000 stuff. The same for you. It's just a matter of priorities, as you said, at the end of the day, because your priorities always switch. I don't know, at some point maybe it's more important for 2 weeks to focus on your exams, but then you go back on track and you start networking again. You need to focus on your immediate goals. Look, what I do, to make things simple, it's all mathematical. At the beginning of every year, let's go even more behind. Like, I have a vision board. How many of you have vision boards here? Wow, I'm super impressed. Like, nobody raises their hand usually. And would you like to explain what a vision board is? Everybody knows what a vision board is, right? Good. So I have a vision board with stuff that I put there. I don't know how they're going to happen, but they're there. Like, 6 months ago, I put on my vision board that I'm going to move to Brussels. I had no idea how I was going to do it. After 1 month, I got a call, and they invited me to have an interview at the European Young Innovators Forum, where I work now in Brussels. I'm the project manager there, and there, again, I'm building communities of entrepreneurs, European entrepreneurs around the world, so basically that's my job. And I created this vision board. I put all those stuff in there. One of them was to go to the US, and look, I got into the program now. And based on those things that I'm dreaming about, I'm prioritizing everything. And at the end of each year, I'm saying, okay, this year I'm going to do this stuff. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to do it. And I get it in my head that I'm going to do it. And believe me, everything else becomes just noise if you focus on your objective and say, okay, I have to do that. Everything else will be much, much clearer. At your age, what is happening right now, you still don't know what you want to do. So that is the thing. My advice to you right now is don't stress about it anymore. Chill, relax, and try everything that feels right for you right now, okay? If you're like into dancing, that's amazing. Continue doing that until you feel like it's good for you. But just like try to imagine what you want to be in, like, I don't know, I know it's a cliche, but try to imagine where you want to be in 5 years, okay? And based on that, I'm not saying like, okay, I want to be like a famous dancer. No, I would like to be more of that, or I would like to have visited that, or I want to get a better relationship with my parents, whatever, okay? Put it there and look at it every morning. This is what I do. I have a huge morning routine. I wake up, I look at my vision board, I write in my journal, I look at my goals again for the year, and every day you do that. At some point, things become so clear to you that you cannot fail. Like, basically, you're like laser focused. And this is something that I recommend to everybody. I wish somebody would have told me this 5 years ago. I don't know where I would have been today. I don't know. So this basically changed my life and skyrocketed my growth. Yes? Is that the answer you were looking for? Yes.
Yeah, let me add. So regardless of diploma and grade, you finish with all 10s, like for the really good job, it will be more quality referral than your quality grades that will get you there. So therefore, like, it's really important to get know all these people before jumping into business. It will like be such important reference when you know people, when you build, when you're in epicenter of your own network. So I can tell you, like from perspective of these startup networkers and their community, like why I really like this community is because everyone is super helpful to each other, and there is one simple rule: it's paid forward. So always when you're mingling with startup people, they will not really say what they are doing. First thing, what they're doing or what they want there. The first thing they will ask you, hey, why you are here? What's your challenge? What your so it's always like about, okay, how I can be helpful to you, and maybe in future it will pay me back. So this is in fact how you network, how you build connection, how you build trust, and later on this just opens you many doors, and whatever in future you will need, your doors for you will be always opened.
And I would like to add to that. I know you personally, but I'm not sure if I ever share that. I joined also to an NGO, and I became a chair at the age of 19. I wasn't aware what's the role, what should I do, and I slept like 2 or 3, 4 hours per night, just because I wanted to do my university things, homeworks, and to study, and also to be good at my new role. And also I had to learn a lot, because what chair does actually. And after 4 years, what happened is that I developed me personally. I learned how to communicate with people. I learned how to interact, how to do networking, how to travel at least, you know, how to organize your trip, and many other things that I was not able to learn at university. But also, investing all this time helped me to connect with people that brought me back some benefits for my technical part, for my professional. And now I'm a scholarship recipient also. I got a mentor, as you have. Mine is from defense, one of the biggest defense industries in the world. And that's something that brought me also some benefits from volunteering. So I think investing time in trying to learn something else that is not really directly or specifically oriented to your professional career is helping you to develop yourself and to improve your life, actually. So just as I said at the beginning, open your eyes and be ready to learn something else, not just your professional skills, and try to improve yourself on other fields. So.
And there's something that somebody told me, one of my mentors told me at some point, the only difference between you and Bill Gates, like the only thing you have in common basically with Bill Gates is that we all have 24 hours in a day. Nobody has more. Like the billionaires and the poorest guy, they all both have 24 hours in a day. The only difference between them is how they spend their time. I realized this when I was around 28. The biggest asset you have is time. Make the most of it, don't waste it. Whatever you do, do not waste your time. That is the most precious thing in the world that you have. Try to make the best of it. Try to figure out ways to save it. Try to make it as productive as possible. So the worst thing you can do to me is waste my time. If somebody wastes my time, I go completely crazy. Like 1 hour of my life is so important that I want to make the most out of every minute. I always read. I'm always looking on the internet, like tutorials. I'm always learning something new. Do not waste your time. It's such a shame. And young people, like at 20, you don't realize that you don't have that much time, but you like this and you're 30, and basically you realize 10 years have passed by and you don't know what you did with your life. This is getting super funny. No, don't worry. No, don't worry. So yeah, this is something very important to understand. Like, make the best out of it. Yeah. And mentoring in this matter, mentoring is basically growing on steroids. It's like you take all the knowledge of somebody who already went through all that stuff and has so much knowledge, and he gives it to you like in a second. Like take 30 years of what he learned and all his mistakes, and boom, you get it like in a small pill. We had at the Romanian IT Global Mentor Program, we had a guy who lives in Detroit who is working at Microsoft. And basically, he's like a super senior developer at Microsoft. And his mentee was a guy from UK, a Romanian guy from the UK, who was trying to get specialized in Microsoft technologies. And after 3 months, he said that his head will explode, basically. He like all those 30 years of experience this guy had at Microsoft and poured it into his head, like the most valuable lessons. He said that basically this like skyrocketed his career like 5 years in advance. It's something that is so important and so valuable, but people don't realize it. Like, get a mentor. You don't know how to do something, get a mentor. Don't try to figure everything by yourself. Like, there's so many cool people, smart out there who are willing to give you their help if you just ask for it. Don't be afraid to ask. Just like, go and ask. You have nothing to lose. Who else would like to share the challenges? This is fun. Could we get the surfers, like the gentleman behind, because he was quiet, and I'm really curious to see what his challenge is.
Hello, I'm Ninoslav from Roma. Main challenge is how to find mentors.
How to find mentors?
Or how to make first step in web development, software development, etc. Main problem that when you're looking job,
could you like maybe
they all want to employ somebody with at least 3 years of experience. How to get experience to start working?
Just to see if I understood right, you are you're learning tech skills now, and you want to get a job in tech, or?
I have theoretical skills in web development, software development, but I don't have practice in real projects. and without at least 3 years of practice, I can find job.
Okay, so I can actually tell you what I did because I was in the same situation. Like I went from marketing to web developer like in a year.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it was super fun because I was doing online marketing, so I was like working a lot with websites, but not designing them. And at some point, a friend of mine says, "You know about websites? There's this guy who wants a website. Can you do it?" And I was like, I had no idea how to do it, like literally none whatsoever. I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then I said, okay, now I said I'm going to do it. I had to actually do it. And I started building the website. It was like horrible. I don't know how it works. And I don't know how those people didn't kill me. But after that website, I designed another one. So basically what I'm trying to say is just don't wait to get a job to get experience. Start building stuff. Okay?
I'm administering 2 websites.
Okay, so you don't have to have experience because if you like build a portfolio for yourself, when I was also a designer, so everybody was asking me what's my experience, and I said, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build like a strong portfolio for myself. So basically, I actually went to people and said, look, I'm trying to learn how to do this. I want to do this for you for free, but I just want you to give me the project. I'm not charging anything. So I did a lot of stuff for free at the beginning, a lot. And by that I learned, and I could say that they were my customers. Yes, they didn't pay me, but I learned, and then I built a portfolio in time. So start building stuff, do free stuff, get involved in projects. Don't just wait for somebody to say, okay, we're gonna hire you and you're gonna have experience. Experience doesn't mean to like actually work in a like I don't know a company for 3 years. Experience knows, like, believe me, if you go to a company and they ask you what do you know to do, what do you know how to do, and you say I am doing this and you're doing it well, they don't care if you have 3 years or 2 years or 5 years. They just want to know what you can do.
Yes, but working in teams is different than working alone.
Sorry?
Working in team, it's different.
There are so many, like for tech professionals, there are so many communities out there. Like you can go online and just basically meet people online and start working with them. This is completely crazy. I don't know, like this is the first rule for a developer or a designer. Google it, work with somebody online, and that's it. Like you don't have to like be with somebody in the same room. You can find everything that you need online, basically.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome. If you have any more questions, I would like to share more afterwards if you want to. Like, you can tell me exactly what your challenge is and try to give you some websites maybe or guidelines to communities, okay?
Yeah, build strong. If you're a developer, build strong GitHub portfolio, contribute to some open source projects. This is your portfolio. No one cares in the end about your CV if you provide good GitHub profile.
And something else, like the easiest domain to find mentors for is tech. Everybody wants to help you learn in tech. Everybody wants to help you. If you're a developer and you ask another developer, hey, how did you do that? Or can you teach me something? 99% of the cases he will say yes. So you just have to ask. Yeah.
I would also like to add up on that. Volunteering is a nice way to gain experience, and it's accepted all around the world.
It is.
So yeah. To go back to my question, it's a kind of specific question. As you are a project manager right now, I would like to ask you, like, you are experienced with leading teams, right? And I seem to be getting a lot of issues with people that expect instant gratification from something.
What do they expect?
Instant gratification. So, like, when I do this, I expect to get paid or something, but we have 2 big projects, like long-term projects that won't pay out, like, I don't know, maybe even in 2 or 3 years, but they are of big benefit to the community and the society. And my question is, how do you show the long-term benefits to people that are like that expect some quick turnarounds, like I want to invest now and
this is like volunteer projects or projects that are...
One of the projects is it started same as my colleague, and the other one started at the university where, so yeah, they aren't like, well, yeah, of course they are volunteering projects in terms of money, and we don't get paid to work on them, so yeah.
So they're volunteering?
Yes, yes.
Okay, but what instant gratification are they looking for if they're volunteering and there's no money?
That's silly because even though everyone is volunteering, some of the people expect to get something out of it fast in any material way.
Okay, so they're looking for material stuff. They're not looking to grow or to learn. They're looking for material stuff.
I can't get into their heads, but that's what.
Okay, so let me tell you what I did. First of all, this what you're asking is like a question of leadership. Like basically, from what you tell me, you're the leader of this project, right? Okay. So the first thing I did, as I told you, I'm running teams of 50 people across Europe and a bit of the US. And what I do with people at the interview, the first thing I do is try to first of all paint a picture of my vision. Like, this is what I want, this is what I can do. I'm very honest with them from the get-go. I'm not going to tell them that you're going to, I don't know, get money out of it. I'm saying, look, this is volunteering. This is what's going to be happening. This is what I can offer you. What you can actually gain from this is know-how, connections, and I'm going to do my best to teach you everything that I can. And the second question is what I always ask, and I do not let anybody on the team without having a very straightforward answer on this, is why? Why do you want to join? What's your why? What do you want from me? Like, why are you here? Why do you want to join our community? And you will laugh, but most people don't know why. It's cute, it's nice, I would like to volunteer, and until I get like a straight answer from them, I tell them, I'm sorry, but you cannot join the team, even if it's volunteering. And I basically tell them that I have to know what is the motivation of all of the people in my teams. Because if I know, for example, a few of them want to become better public speakers. So in that perspective, every time there's a speaking opportunity, even if they're not ready for it, I try to coach them a little bit for public speaking. And then every time there's an opportunity, I know that, for example, Andre in London wants to be a better public speaker. So every time I send him, or somebody else who is fit for it and wants to learn public speaking. So basically, understand their motivation very well, be very sincere and very frank from the beginning. Do not sell them, I don't know, nice stories. Tell them, this is it, we're going to work hard. This is what you can expect in 1-2 years. So set the expectations very clear from the beginning and understand where that person is coming from. And you'll see that most of the time they don't know where they're coming from and they don't know what they want. Try to figure that out with them and always keep that in mind. So this works wonders.
Yeah, as she mentioned before, time is our most valuable asset. So if you want people to commit their time, their most valuable asset to your project, they expect something in return for it, okay? So if you don't have actually money, budget to pay them, if they're founding members, you want to split everything in half. Doesn't matter if you will if it's your idea or you're doing at the moment most of job. If you want them a long run, you split everything half because you're kind of in marriage. If you're actually employing someone, like, okay, even if you don't have budget, they're the first one to be paid, not yourself. Like very often you will give from your pocket in order to cover this cost. So how to make someone who is like your first employees, how to make them like stick together? There is this principle called vesting. So basically you also give them like equity. But for example, I give you 4% of equity, but over 4 years. So basically, each year you get 1%. So on 4th year, you earned your 4%, and you can actually exit the company, do whatever you like, and you will still hold this 4%, or it's actually vested option. So there is some procedure after it. We will not go into it. So these are kind of techniques how to actually make people like stick to the project on long run, but on the short run, if they expect to get paid, get rewards, maybe you don't have cash, but try to find a way how to compensate.
And be there for them. This
yes.
is something very important. People look at the leader or at the manager or the person in charge. They always say it's very easy for him because he just tells people what to do. Believe me, telling people what to do and being right about it is the hardest thing you can do. The hardest thing I have done in my life is to grow and as a manager and be there for the teams. Like, as a team leader and the leader of this community, I know everything about each person in my community, what they are, who they are, what they want, and I'm always thinking about them. And when I give them a task, I'm always thinking like, okay, if I give him this task, what's he gonna learn from it? How is he gonna learn from it? And then after he does the task, I talk to him and say, okay, what did you learn from it? What do you think we could have done differently? And having that patience, the energy to do this with everybody, and to, besides that, the fact that you have to motivate yourself, get up in the morning, do it for everybody else, it takes a huge amount of energy and a huge amount of patience. So people just say, okay, he's there up on the stage, it's really nice, he's there on the stage, he's telling people what to do. But doing this and being good at it and actually growing people around you is the hardest thing ever. And it's also the most satisfying thing. I often have people from my team saying, okay, I learned this from you and I consider you to be a mentor. There's nothing ever that gives me more satisfaction and makes me understand I'm on the right way. So grow people around you. That's the best thing you can do. That's the most valuable thing you can give them. Your time, your know-how, and grow them, basically. Yeah. I think our time is up. I would like to thank you so much for being here today. It's amazing to see what a great energy young people here in Serbia have. It's been amazing, and I'm so grateful to be here and to talk to you all. I encourage you to add me on LinkedIn or Facebook if you want to. I would love to keep in touch. If you have any other questions, I would be very happy to answer them anytime. This is something that I really enjoy, talking to people and trying to help as much as I can. So don't hesitate. My name is Oana Bouraoui. You can find me on the leaflets if not. And it was amazing talking to you, and I would like to give you a big round of applause and wish you good luck from now on. Thank you.